I recently turned 23 and reflected on the past 4 or 5 years of beginning to live a more meaningful life in my last video. Now that I'm closer to my mid-20s than to the time when I was 18 years old, I want to make another video and share my advice for people who are in their 20s like me. Sure, I'm not in my 30s like most of the people who make these I wasted my 20s types of videos, but I actually believe, even though I have a long way to go still, I believe that I'm doing many of the things right and have been doing them right for quite a while. I don't want to sound arrogant, and most likely I'll still regret something about my 20s when I turn 30, but most of the things that I will mention in this video actually just helped me a lot to grow and become a better version of myself. Hopefully what I talk about today will help you as well if you are in your 20s or even 30s. Let's start with the base practices, meaning foundational: sleep, diet, and exercise. This health trinity is the most important when it comes to taking care of your body and in turn your mind. All of these base aspects of your life have to be in a pretty solid position in order for you to not feel like crap and actually feel way better and perform better on a daily basis. Sleep, diet, and exercise can vary between individuals a lot, but impact a life negatively if these things are neglected. When it comes to sleep, make sure to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep and have a proper sleep schedule. Go to sleep and wake up at the same time even on weekends. This will not only align your body with its natural rhythm, but also provide psychological benefits as your days become more structured. Avoid caffeine late in the day and avoid technology that has screens whilst you are laying in bed before sleeping, because these things can impact the quality of your sleep a lot. Remember, to have good sleep, it's not only about the number of hours you get each night, but also about the quality of sleep itself. For your diet, do some research on what works for you and also try to keep a consistency healthy diet. Personally, I struggle with a proper diet, but I also don't want to overwhelm myself, and so I just keep it simple and just try to eat healthy food and balance it with once in a while eating junk food. Exercise could be a game changer in terms of how you feel if you are a man, as engaging in a physical activity generates testosterone. What kind of exercise you should be doing, again, depends on you, but I would recommend trying out some form of a martial arts. I personally do jiu-jitsu, and it completely changed the way I feel day in and day out, not to mention the increased confidence, the social and competitive element, and strength. Why I recommend trying out some form of martial arts is that before I started, I never knew that this kind of thing would be for a person like me, and thought to myself to just go there as a way to train discipline, even if I will hate going there. In the end, I loved it and reaped a lot of the benefits that came with enjoying this sport. One of the worst pieces of advice I hear everywhere is when people say, your 20s is about having fun and not having any worries. Really? Why should you be having all this fun? I understand celebrating when you've accomplished something, but spending most of your time at parties and brushing it off as, well, I'm young, I can do this, I don't think that's very good. If you like parties and that's your thing, it's okay, go ahead and party, but what I'm trying to say is that you need to learn to moderate it and not to go when it's time to take care of responsibilities. Since you are young, it's easy not to worry about drinking, smoking, doing drugs, partying, and engaging in other pleasures, but you need to figure out a way to either moderate this consumption of pleasures or quit it. Me, I'm an extrovert, and when I used to drink, I used to love going to parties, even though I didn't get invited to many of them and didn't go to many of them, but I loved just being drunk and surrounded by people. However, looking back at it now, it's a meaningless activity that felt good for one night, and then the next day I would just waste the whole day trying to recover from a hangover. Another thing that I finally got rid of from my life, hopefully forever, is smoking. Now, I really enjoyed smoking, as that would not take my control away like alcohol did, but it would give me a buzz and just a relaxed feeling in the short term. In the long term, I felt that this caused me many problems, like spending more money, impulsively wanting to smoke more and more, reduce performance in jiu-jitsu, reduce sleep quality, and anxiety whenever I would crave to smoke. One thing that I quickly want to mention is to quit porn and quit or limit masturbation. For young guys, porn addiction is one of the most common ones. Now, my views have slightly changed of NoFap over the years, and now I believe that you can moderate masturbation, but when it comes to pornography, I still believe that you should quit it, as it's a dangerous thing that could actually rewire your brain. Find what works for you, but if you are a guy, engaging in all of this stuff can decrease motivation, it can decrease the desire to go out there and find a relationship, it can decrease your performance, it can decrease your confidence, and so on. Anyways, if you can moderate alcohol, smoking, drugs, partying, and whatever other pleasures, then I think it's fine. My recommendation would be to just quit most of these things, as these things don't really provide anything for your life and actually take away more than give. I believe in learning to enjoy less, and perhaps once in a while you don't need to go to that party and then spend the other day just recovering, but you can just have some fun, spend the night in a fun way, but in a controlled way. Your 20s are not only about having fun, as you might have been led to believe, but it's also about building yourself and learning to embrace discomfort and pain. I believe your 20s should be mostly about searching for meaning and engaging in a productive and a purposeful activity. More on that later, but the first step you could take in order to bring yourself closer to meaning is to begin experiencing some discomfort. Great things in life only ever come when you are trying, enduring, and overcoming. They're not handed to you on a silver platter. That's why you should learn to embrace discomfort and pain. One thing you can do it is to not let yourself be pushed into making that first big life decision, going to a university. Your peers, parents, and random people will say that this is the only way to make something of yourself. If you're not 100% sure that going to a university is the right choice for you, then don't. Take a year or two to work some basic jobs to kind of see what the real world is all about, travel, or just build some skills on your own. Then after that, you will be more mature, and your decision to either go to a university or not will be more grounded. Me, I was pressured into going to university right after finishing high school, and wasted like 3 months there until I decided to drop out and figure out some stuff on my own. For 2 years, I traveled, worked in a pizzeria as a driver, and worked on YouTube. About a year and a half ago, I retook my high school exams, and right now I'm studying psychology in a university. This choice wasn't made in a rush. I thought about it long and hard, and I'm pretty happy about the way things turned out. So when it comes to choosing a path in life, the easy and more comfortable route is, in the long term, is not always just a good choice. Spend some time thinking about it. Another way you can embrace discomfort is to learn to not fear approaching women and trying to build a relationship. Sure, you should first build yourself up before bringing another person into your life, but there's nothing wrong in beginning to learn on how to approach and talk to women. I know it's terrifying to just walk up to a cute girl you see on the street or in a random other place, but it's necessary, because if you are a man, you need to know how to do it properly, and this also increases your confidence, communication, and courage. One problem that most men face is that they expect a good outcome. They need to impress this girl or else it's over. Most of the time, the more you think, the less likely you will approach and just talk with a girl. When you see a girl that you want to talk to, begin training yourself into first approaching and then thinking. That way you instantly put yourself in a situation that makes you think on your feet. Do this a couple of times and you'll see how after a few times you will be more comfortable with this approaching. Also, you don't need to approach and think that the outcome will be a relationship later on. You don't even need to ask for a number or social media. You just talk, say goodbye, and move on. The most important thing you need to remember when approaching women is that if you are nervous talking with girls, you may never get rid of this nervousness. Courage is about going through fear and not eliminating the fear itself. One thing you will notice after going a couple of times through this discomfort is that you begin to become more comfortable with this fear, and in a way that will make it easier. Of course, this discomfort can be only found when you escape your comfort zone, and one of the worst things you can do in your 20s is to live in a virtual comfort zone. Video games are one of the primary pleasures that today's young men lose themselves in. The reason I want to talk about problematic gaming or a full-on video game addiction here and not when I mentioned the bad habits is because I believe engaging in video games a lot can be one of the more dangerous activities a young man could be doing. Why? Well, video games simulate reality. There are many aspects of gaming that are addicting, but the foundation is that you engage in in-game activities that are about leveling up, defeating enemies, customizing your character, or other ways of progression. Life is also about progression, but in real life, you need to work hard and long in order to get some good results. In gaming, you progress way faster and actually gain the same neuropsychological benefits and actually in bigger doses. I recommend checking out this video that I co-wrote with a video game addiction expert, Cam Adir, over on his channel Game Quitters, where we go in depth about the neuropsychology and biology of playing video games. In short, video games can rewire your brain chemistry to the point that you prefer these easier and simulated rewards more than real life's tasks. This can drastically decrease the motivation to not search for any kind of meaning in one's life and not to engage in any productive activities. The last thing that I think is one of the most important things that you should be working on in order to not regret your 20s is to find meaning and engage in a productive and a purposeful activity or activities. I don't want to go too deep into meaning because I have many videos covering the topic of meaning way more deeply, but I will mention a few key things. Meaning will not only give you a feeling that is 10 times stronger than any kind of pleasure out there, but it also will be a long-term feeling. Having a purpose will also help you navigate in life, even when you feel you can't. As mentioned, one of the most meaningful things you can do is to find a passion or an interesting activity. How do you do that? Check out this video of mine that goes over exactly what you need to be doing in order to achieve that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for pretty much daily improvement content. Also, when you subscribe, make sure to click that bell notification icon, as YouTube usually doesn't give notifications to my subscribers for some reason when new videos are up. Anyways, thank you for watching again, and remember, meaning is always above pleasures.